The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Happening now at 6 o'clock, covering the entire DMV. A parent pardoned, the father arrested during a heated school board meeting in Loudoun County, now relieved of his conviction by Virginia's governor.
On the move, tie game, touchdown!
A new era with the Commanders at home. Game 1, it's done under new ownership. A live report from FedEx Field after Washington went head-to-head with Arizona. Plus, we're stretching your dollar. The student loan repayments required next month. Ways to find relief for borrowers across the DMV. And we'll never forget, on this eve of the 9/11 anniversary, how local communities are honoring those innocent lives lost 22 years later. And good evening. Thank you for joining us for DC News Now at 6. I'm Ben Dennis. We had an active one outside yesterday as far as the sky is concerned. Meteorologist Scott Sumner standing by with a look at our current radar out there. Scott, good evening. What's going on?
Good evening, Ben. Yeah, not as active now as we were just 24 hours ago. I'll show you a little radar tour here in and around the district. There have been a couple of sprinkles and light rain showers dotting the region, but for the most part, it is quiet, and we'll see puffy clouds outside, as we'll see a live look here in just a little bit. As we go a little further down towards the tidal basin here, notice a little bit more in the way of some active weather, a little heavier concentration of shower activity, and this is all moving up towards the Colonial Beach area. A little shower over north of Fredericksburg, more showers out towards the mountains in Garrett County, heading up towards Allegheny County where Cumberland resides, as we have again a lot of that in an area that's under a flood watch across the region. A little wider perspective now of the entire viewing area, and again, hit and miss random showers out there, really nothing severe, just some moderate rain, and our future scan picks up on some of those showers continue to move to the north here. But like I said just a moment ago, a flood watch is in effect for our western areas, our western friends out there towards Garrett County, over towards the Martinsburg area, down through Winchester and Woodstock region. It's not to say we couldn't see some rain in the district, but the heaviest rain looks to be out west. We'll get it down, a little breakdown of that with a future scan coming up in a little bit.
Got a local eye for everybody out there. Thank you, Scott. Happening right now, a great start to the new season for the Washington Commanders. They defeated the Arizona Cardinals this afternoon, 20-16 over at FedEx Field. It also gave Josh Harris his first win as the team's new owner. That excitement was palpable across the DMV, like right here in Arlington. The Crystal City Sports Pub was covered in burgundy and gold. Plenty of fans filled the pub. There was a renewed excitement in the air this year. The team has won 3 Super Bowls in its history. The last one was, 31 years ago. It would be nice to cut that number significantly, but with some major changes during the offseason, most notably a new ownership team, well, fans are excited about the team's future.
You know, I think there's excitement everywhere. Getting rid of Schneider, bad egg for a long time. Guy only cared about money. Now we got somebody that wants to win football games, and we need somebody that cares about football, doesn't care about money, and wants to win, and brings a winning tradition back to Washington.
A new era is beginning. Snyder's gone. You know, it's a new culture. I'm very excited. Go Washington.
Nothing more else to say. The Commanders travel to Denver for next Sunday's game with the Broncos. Coming up in just a few minutes, Sports Director Derek Forrest joins us live from FedEx Field with reaction from players and fans after the big win. Stay with us on that. An update for you in the district. Yesterday, we told you about a barricade and a fatal shooting. One person was dead in Northeast D.C. But now we know the 2 incidents were indeed connected. This happened on Duncan Place, not far from Maryland Avenue, with D.C. police receiving calls about a shooting just after 3 o'clock. It's there they found 21-year-old Jordan Coates with gunshot wounds. She was taken to a local hospital. That's where she died. The suspect, 24-year-old Damian Brown out of Southeast, had barricaded himself inside his apartment until he did surrender. Brown has been charged with second-degree murder. And in Spotsylvania County, 3 19-year-olds were arrested after over 1,000 fentanyl-laced pills were found in the car that they were inside. According to the sheriff's office, detectives saw a sedan going above the speed limit with no front tags. All the while, passengers frantically were changing their seats. The officers pulled over the car, found the pills along with 2 handguns. Deshaun A. Mims, Jada Sales Perez, and Francisco D. Chavaria have been charged with possession of narcotics, along with several other charges. Staying in Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin has pardoned a father after being convicted of disorderly conduct during a Loudoun County Public School Board meeting back in 2021. It happened when the parent, Scott Smith, said that his daughter was sexually assaulted on school grounds. Governor Youngkin pardoned Smith on Friday, saying that Scott Smith is a dedicated parent who's faced unwarranted charges in his pursuit to protect his daughter. Scott's commitment to his child, despite the immense obstacles, is emblematic of the parental empowerment movement that started in Virginia. A full report tonight at 9. We're on the way to speak with the family right now. Staying in the district, more transparency could be coming to the DC 911 call center. The Office of Unified Communications is launching a new data dashboard. Our Marielle Carbone reports from District Dogs nearly a month after the agency came under fire for its handling of a flash flood that killed 10 dogs.
The council legislation to create this 911 call center dashboard was actually introduced well before the flooding here at District Dogs, but the event really highlighted the need for it. The goal of the dashboard is to increase transparency and trust for when you call 911.
It didn't seem real. It felt like a nightmare.
A group of grieving pet owners pushing for change and transparency from one of the district's top public safety agencies. It's 911 call center.
We understand that these problems have been long running. We're not the only people affected by OUC errors.
Friday, the Office of Unified Communications launched this dashboard detailing 911 errors, dispatch rates, staffing numbers, and more. The agency has long been criticized for botched responses to emergency calls, most recently highlighted by the deaths of 10 dogs after flash flooding on Rhode Island Avenue last month led to feet of water rushing into District Dogs. The call was first classified as a water leak, delaying response.
I knew as soon as this incident occurred, because it involves animals and people are very close to their animals, there'd be widespread interest in this story.
Dave Statter is a public safety advocate and critic of the OUC.
I'm glad to see that there is an attempt to be transparent.
Statter says the dashboard highlights an ongoing staffing shortage at the center. In August, it shows nearly 40% of shifts were understaffed.
We should be concerned that 911 won't answer. And if you can't staff the center to answer emergency calls when people need it the most, you're not doing the job.
Statter says he'd like to see even more transparency, including daily staffing numbers, not just monthly. And a point of contention from the dashboard, it lists that the District Dogs call was handled appropriately. That is despite it taking more than 20 minutes from when the first call came in to when firefighters confirmed they were actually entering the building here. Reporting in Northeast D.C., I'm Marielle Carbone, D.C. News Now.
Well, thanks to Marielle. Meantime, in Prince George's County, leaders just unanimously passed a new bill that they claim will protect drivers at gas pumps. The measure requires stations to clearly display credit card prices on all their signs. Cash options are often cheaper. The bill states that customers must have an unobstructed line of credit card prices from prices at the cash register. Windows and doors must also remain unobstructed for clear viewing. One council member says that the increased transparency will be especially helpful for senior citizens. The law takes effect in 45 days, and gas stations have a year to comply with the new rules. Heads up for Metro riders, more frequent train service will be available starting tomorrow. Get the work week off right. Well, WMATA says that the service increases will add more than 6% more train trips. And Artosin Fakile has more details on how much more frequent trains will roll through and the historic impact for Metro.
Metro is ramping up train service during peak hours on almost all of its lines starting Monday, September 11th. The transit agency says this is its 11th service increase since last summer. Metro says with more people taking the train in the morning and evening, it's boosting peak service. So on Monday, red, blue, silver, green, and yellow line trains will have more frequent service on weekdays between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. and 6 p.m. The transit body says the exact times of peak service will vary by station. Orange Line trains will continue operating every 10 minutes all day, 7 days a week, and every 15 minutes after 9:30 p.m. Now, Metro says it's now running more train service than at any time in its 47-year history. The transit body says while ridership continues to grow, it is still below pre-pandemic levels, and Metro says it'll continue to monitor ridership trends and assess the need for any future service adjustments based on ridership demand. Now, you can check out the details of the times between trains once that service starts. You can look that up on our website, dcnewsnow.com. I'm Tosin Fakile in the studio for DC News Now. Back to you.
Well, thanks to Tosin. Turning now, September 11th, 2001, a day from now to commemorate. Well, we'll never forget. Around the country, communities are honoring lives lost 22 years ago. This includes Montgomery County, where 11 county residents were killed in the attack on the Pentagon. They and all those lives will never be forgotten. And in the district, members of Engine Company 15 remember lives of firefighters lost by planting flags in front of their Anacostia firehouse. 343 flags every single year. Meantime, New York's Ground Zero will soon host a performing arts center that pays tribute to lives lost on the attacks. The Perelman Performing Arts Center was envisioned 2 decades ago. It's meant to add more vibrancy and life to an area that's been tied to death and destruction for so many years. It comes after plenty of financial roadblocks and changes in leadership and design.
The Performing Arts Center is life.
Every decision that we make in ways in which we want to connect with the community, we want to bring in as wide of a range of artists in the space, is rooted in the fact that we are on such a sacred ground within the World Trade Center.
And that Arts Center is set to open Tuesday, September the 19th.